Bridge City is planning on extending several bonds to help pay for its appeal of FEMA's new flood maps, which would put 80% of the city in a flood zone. The new flood maps are part of the Biggert Waters Act, which greatly increased flood insurance costs this year. President Obama signed new legislation amending and repealing parts of the Biggert Waters Act to make insurance more affordable. KFDM's Lauren Huet reports Bridge City's mayor says it's still crucial to appeal the flood maps.
Bridge City Councilman Robert Simonton remembers what happened to his home during Hurricane Ike.
You couldn't see the gutters on the eaves of my house.
But he says that's the only time this house is flooded.
I don't think it'll flood like that again. 60-something years, 70 years, the house has been here and it's flooded once. I mean, that was just an unusual storm.
If the Biggert Waters Act hadn't been amended this year, it would have made Simonton's flood insurance unaffordable.
Over a 5-year period, I was looking at going from the current $2,600 a year to $14,400 a year.
Bridge City Mayor Kirk Roccaforte says it's still important to appeal FEMA's new flood maps, which raises base flood elevation for much of the city.
If you're going to build a home, the base flood elevation makes a whole big difference as to the height of the slab of the home and the rates that they're going to have to pay for insurance.
The new FEMA flood maps were put on hold when Bridge City filed an appeal. Under the current flood maps in Bridge City, the base flood elevation is 8 feet. Under the new FEMA flood maps, the base flood elevation would be as high as 12 feet in some parts of the city.
I'd have to be at 11 foot. So you're talking about an additional 5 foot of height. From where we're at right now, you're probably talking about my house would have to be built up to here.
Mayor Roccaforte says the new legislation amending the Biggert Waters Act gives relief to homeowners, not to commercial property owners. So the new flood maps are still a problem.
If it's not a homesteaded property, it would make that property's flood insurance not even affordable.
He says appealing the maps is necessary to keep the city growing. In Bridge City, Lauren Huet, KFDM 6 News.
Bridge City filed its appeal with FEMA in December. Mayor Roccaforte says extending the bonds 3 years would raise $1.2 million to pay for the appeal. City Council will vote on extending the bonds June 3rd.